Welcome to the Double D's Lovecast. All right, so I am Damon.
And I'm Desiree, and this is Life Therapy.
So this week we thought we'd do something a little bit fun. So we thought that this week we would actually kind of give you guys a little peek into what we do on date days, right? Because a lot of you guys, I'm sure you've been dating your person for like a long time. You probably go on your dates. You don't know what to say, what to talk about, like what to do. So we kind of have like this little agenda that we do on our date days, which usually leads to hours and hours and hours of conversation and just a good time. So I wanted to discuss that today. So
yes, because some people think that just going on a date to like a movie or, playing games, yeah, that's fun. But you want to be able to go on a date where you guys can actually like talk about your relationship, talk about like the likes and all these other things. And we're going to dig into those today.
Yeah. So one of the things that we do first, and we started doing this like, I don't know, maybe a couple months ago, which we usually start these dates off with like a very, very positive note. And so what we do is we talk about like the three things that we like about something that our partner has done over the past week, right? So we usually start the date off like that. So it'll be like, I like whenever you did this, or I really loved it whenever you said that, or I really loved it when you did this, right? So that's usually how we start it off. So she'll usually go first and she'll say what she liked about some things that I may have done or said over the past week. And then I go and then I tell her what I really recognized and appreciated and liked over the past week. So that's usually step one. That's how we actually start our dates off.
And that's even a good thing to start with too, because like you said, one, it's positive, and two, that can actually lead into more conversation as to like, why did you like this? Like, how did it make you feel? And so digging into more of that, because if you go and you dig into the feeling portion of it, and if that made your partner feel really good or extremely happy, that just means that's something that you should take note, right? So that way maybe you can do that again. Or, just like I told him, he made this really, really nice post and it made me feel good. It made me feel loved. So I'm sure he's checking his boxes and he'd be like, I'm probably going to do that again because I think he already did today or yesterday.
So I love posting about her. I actually have to hold back how much I want to actually share about her because she's so amazing. But anyway, so that's usually how we start the dates off, right? We do the 3 likes, right? We get it in a positive setting. We start the conversation. You start to understand each other a little bit more. You start to see more about what your partner likes. So that way it's something you're like, okay, they really like that. I need to do more of that, right? And then the next thing that I like to bring things into, because for you men watching this, pay close attention to what I'm about to say, okay? So your role as a husband is to help your wife get her emotional needs met, right? Help her heal in some cases, right? And that's basically all you got to do, right? So one of the things that I love to do is I like to actually, after we get through with the positive stuff and the likes, I like to take this into a little bit more serious stuff, right? Like, what's my baby going through this week, right? Like, what are some problems that she's facing? So usually what we get into is like, all right, so what are some problems that you're facing this week, right? And I kind of already know what problems she may be having at this point, right? But this is the time where we actually get to dig into it. How did that make you feel? What's going on? Why'd you feel that way, right? And you just dig to see what's really behind all that and help her be able to express what she's feeling and get it off of her chest, because that's really all women need, guys. It's really simple.
Yes.
It really is.
And so the problem that a lot of you guys do, and he even did this for many, many years until
I used to be terrible.
He started to listen to like, books and things, is women, we don't want to be told what to do. I don't think anybody wants to. We want to vent.
Or their problem solved.
If we're telling you this, we are not looking for your opinion unless we specifically say, what should I do? But even in that case, most cases, we don't want to know what you want us to do, because we're probably not going to do it anyways, because we are female and females don't have the same thing as men. And we're just very different minded.
Totally.
So we just want to be able to get it off our chest, talk about it. I think this is why
this is how they heal.
Women are more or less like the friends know everything about everything in your life, because women just like to talk. They want to vent, they want to get it out. But this is where, and we've done this, mostly me, is we need to not share a lot of things with our friends, and you need to share with your partner. And this is why a lot of these date questions are really good, because you can actually tackle these things like every single week, right? So you can be at like the front line, versus like before, when I was unable to talk to him, I would just build up. Yeah, I was talking to my friends about it.
And then poof.
And then like, damn it, I hate you. Yeah.
And then her explosion, right, would trigger me, right? And then I would come back, right? And this is a lot of your guys' situations, right? So this is, like I said, so this is the step 2 is we go into the problems, right? So I kind of already know what may be happening.
Which you should, because we already always talk about it, you know, but, and you always kind of know what's going on in our life now.
Totally. But I want to dig in deeper. And so that way she can get these emotions that she's feeling out, right? So she's not bottling them up, right? So I want her to get them out, so that way she can heal from them, she can move forward, and so that way she's more emotionally happy and healthy. Because here's a little secret for you guys too. The moment that your woman is able to get it out, they are instantly happy. Okay? Instantly happy.
Are you sure that wasn't the wine?
Just kidding. Could be the wine. We usually have wine on our date days too. But they literally, the moment that they get the emotion out, they're instantly different people. So it's very, very important. And this is why I make it a priority whenever we have our dates all right, let's discuss maybe what may be going on this week that you may be going through. Because I want to kind of dig into this and see how more about how you're feeling in this moment and why you're feeling this way. But that's step 2. That's what we do. So the likes first, then we go into the problems. And then usually step 3 is we usually go into, if you guys been watching our previous episodes where we talk about, we do the audiobooks, right? We listen to audiobooks and podcasts and things like that while we're driving and everything. And then I usually will write down date questions of things that pop in my head or things that I hear that I really like. And then we will discuss that. And that's usually what we do on the 3rd step is we start talking about the stuff that we've been learning in our books and things like that. And then I usually have some questions, that I've already prepared that I plan on asking during the date. And it usually leads into like deep conversations. And literally we could talk for hours. So, and that's really the 3 steps of the date. Yeah. And then usually by that time date's over. Right. And then it's, time for us to get back to work if it's during the weekday, or if
pick
it's
up
like
the kid.
Yeah, or if it's like a weekend, then it's time to go to the bedroom, right?
to sleep. No, I'm kidding.
So that's typically the 3 steps that we take for these dates that we do pretty regularly. And like I said, it usually leads to hours of conversation. So anything you want to add to that?
No, I think we hit all of it there.
Yeah,
it's pretty simple, guys. Simple. It really is. It's just making sure that you are intentionally talking about stuff and talking about the right things. Talk about like your marriage and life within each other, and not talk about kids and bills. That's because you don't want to have like a downer date. You want your date to be a positive experience. And, I've said this in the past, is you don't want to go on dates if they're going to be always like negative things, right? So that's why we have all these different steps that we follow. So we always kind of focus on good, positive things that are going to help us grow and help our relationship thrive. And that's what we want for you guys too, because it is really easy if you guys both just make that initial
it really is easy
to
guys.
Actually make the change.
It really is. It really is easy once you know what you're doing. And here's another little question for you that we ask periodically too, not always on the dates, but sometimes. And she says it really well. And every time she asks it like touches my soul. And she usually asks the question, she'll say, what is something that I could do better for you? How do you phrase that? How do you say, what do you usually say?
I said, what can I do better for you this week?
There you go. That's what it is.
What can I do to be better?
Yeah. So she usually will ask me that, and then I'll ask her that, and then you're going to get an honest answer typically from your spouse, some areas where maybe they feel like they need more of or less of, or things like that. But yeah, that pretty much sums up the date day. So
yeah, and I think if you guys are just being real with each other and actually making an honest to God effort with like trying to make your marriage work,
being intentional,
you really shouldn't have too many problems, because if you talk about everything on a regular basis and you are making that time spent with each other, like intentionally, like a couple times a week, and putting your spouse first, there shouldn't be any problems unless your spouse is obviously doing bad things, but
yeah, usually the majority of our conversations are fun.
Shouldn't have very much to complain about. Like right now, we don't have really any problems. No,
we're
any
all
complaints. Good. No, what can we do better?
We're we're good. That was literally our answer on our most recent one. What can we do better? We're good. Yeah. There's nothing really I can really give any advice on right now. I think we're in a really good place. So, so that's the key thing. And then just have fun, guys. You gotta have fun again. When kids get involved and life gets involved, a lot of times you guys, you get overwhelmed by all this stuff, and you got to remember, you got to have fun. So we usually do the weekday date, which is our one where we usually have our conversations and stuff. Sometimes we do them on the weekends too. And then we usually have a day on the weekend where we go do some fun stuff.
Yeah. Right? So like yesterday we had our mid date, and we went to a restaurant. I went to the mall because we needed to get a couple of shopping things done for this weekend. And then
because we're going to go have fun this weekend.
Yeah. Because we're going to go watch a DJ. So we're going to go dance our pants off, on Saturday. So just, doing something fun. Stop sticking with the same old thing. Like bowling together could be fun. We've done that. Just something
try
and
fun. Try and do new stuff. Yeah. Dude, we love to dance, which is why we have this little overnight getaway that we're going to this weekend. We're going to go dance our pants off this weekend. So
yeah, remember that was one of the things that I passed the test, guys, on my first date.
That was one of the tests I put her through. If you guys remember, she passed it. So, but that's it. That pretty much sums up the how we do our dates. It's real simple. And like I said, if you guys are being intentional and you're deliberately spending time with each other and having, these conversations and asking really, really good, deep questions, you're going to have a lot of hours of just conversation. You're going to have a good time. You're going to connect on an emotional level and, physical level and stuff like that too, which is something we always talk about. You got to have, every week, right? So tell them what we did yesterday.
So we haven't, so remember we were doing like scheduled, like basically said scheduled bedroom dates and our schedule. So night times we are just like ready to go to bed. Honestly,
exhausted. We get up super early.
We get up early. That means we're going to bed like at 8:30 p.m. That's our normal time. Even especially on Fridays, we're exhausted.
And we've been trying to have work week. We've been trying to have to wait until little dude goes to sleep, right? Before we can.
Because he's always trying to stalk us.
Before we can get it in, right? And so now by the time he falls asleep, I'm exhausted. I'm like, oh man, come on, can you go to sleep? I call him my little cock blocker.
So we just
because he's always delaying it.
Just make it happen in the middle of the day. So we're like, hey, got 30 minutes. Let's do this.
Yeah. So yesterday we went and worked out first thing in the morning, and then literally went straight back to the bedroom. Yep. So, but like we always talk about, you got to be intentional, especially with your sexual intimacy as well too, along with your dating and stuff like that. So
yes.
So that's basically what we did yesterday. That was fun.
Yeah.
But anyway, that pretty much sums up this week's episode.
Yeah.
So I actually will put the description of this in the comments, I'll put the text of what we just talked about in the description below. So that way you guys can actually save that in your notes, put it on your phone. Next time you go on your date, then make sure that you do these things and watch how your conversation flows and your date goes, and everything's going to be more fun, and you're going to be able to connect on a deeper level. So
that's right, guys.
All right. So we will see you guys next time. Make sure you subscribe.
Bye-bye.
Bye.